Hi everybody, welcome to Yoga Pants and Plants, 30 Days of Compassionate Yoga. Today is day 3, designed for buoyancy. Today we'll be discovering the yoga philosophy of truthfulness and how it feels in our body, and discovering more about our body's natural ability to be buoyant and upright. Let's get started. Yoga Pants and Plants. 30 Days of Compassionate Yoga is an invitation to journey toward being in the present moment, an opportunity to emulate the way nature lives in the moment. Be like a plant. Don't worry how you look. Notice how you sense and respond, like the way a tree reaches for the sun or a source of water. Nourish yourself with movement and stillness. Allow compassion to flourish for a little bit of time every day. Day 3, designed for buoyancy. There's a concept in yoga philosophy called truthfulness. Exploring our basic posture is a way to find truthfulness in our own bodies. One of the ways is learning to notice our body's natural response to gravity, and it's called yielding. So we're going to experience that today. We'll start with a standing position. Begin by dangling your feet from your hip sockets and allow them to fall naturally to the floor. Stand for a moment and notice the nature of your breathing. And then gradually let your weight collapse into the earth as if you had no bones. Feel all parts of your body sink into the earth. Now observe the quality of your breathing. What do you feel in your emotions? What do you feel in your body? Now begin to push the earth away, continuously pushing with a tightening action. Tighten and lift up your leg muscles. Draw your abdomen in, tighten your buttocks, and lift your chest and spine against the gravity. As you prop the body, notice the quality of your breathing. What do you feel in your emotions? What do you feel in your body? Finally, try this. Notice the body's natural response to gravity. Like I said, it's called yielding. It is that little lift you feel in the middle of the continuum between propping and collapsing. From that propped stance that we just did, where we were pushing out, tightening action, slowly feel the weight of your leg bones feeding into the earth as you exhale. Imagine the abdomen to be like a balloon that is filled with helium. It wants to lift up. And yet there are ribs keeping things buoyant and in place. To understand more about this middle place, notice your 2 hip bones. Use your fingers to touch the hip bones and also find the pubic bone, which is located between the 2 hip bones about 5 to 6 inches below the navel. That whole area is the pelvis, and the word pelvis means basin. We will think of it as a basin or a bowl filled with water. That helps us to imagine what might happen to the water if we move our hips forward or backward. Press the hips back until the back is flat, and imagine water spilling out the back. This creates a collapsed posture. You may notice your shoulders rounding down in front. Next, press your hips forward until the spine is arched and the bowl is spilling water out the front. This is called a propped posture. You may notice that your shoulders are back. Then finally find a spot that's in between those 2 positions. There you will be able to imagine that the water in the bowl stays in place. Radiate out from the center position of your pelvis and notice the bending and straightening of your legs. Stand steady and easy with just a slight bend at the knees. Consider this quote from yoga author Donna Farhi. Any surface of the body that makes contact with the ground must yield to the earth. Actively yielding to the earth creates a rebounding force away from the earth, elongating the body upward into space. Wherever the relationship of yielding to the earth is lost, breathing is restricted. Again, wherever the relationship of yielding to the earth is lost, breathing is restricted. The exercise with propping and collapsing helped show how the emotional body responds to posture and breath. Knowing that the compassion layer shines from the very center of your being, this means if breath is restricted or emotions shift, it is like clouds or smoke in front of the moon. This means your compassion is not able to shine as brightly if you are collapsed or propping the body instead of yielding. As you move around today, radiating your compassion from the very center of you, ask yourself if you tend to stand in either a propped or a collapsed position of the pelvis. If you find yourself collapsed, with the spine pressing back and shoulders rounded and a tight front line, you can use the mobility of your spine that we have been working on with an arch and flatten and find that just right, stable, steady pelvis. Or perhaps you might find yourself with an extra arch in the back line, tight or constricted muscles in the back and shoulders tucking back. This would be the propped position. You know what to do to return to a stable, steady pelvis. Complete an arch and flatten right where you are standing and seek the tallest part of the spine radiating out from the center of the pelvis with a gentle lift upward. This is finding your ability to yield. Find your way to a comfortable position on your mat for relaxation. And as you are bending down toward the ground to get there, you can go to a tabletop position and move your spine into the cat and cow position. You can also wiggle in any way that is helpful. And eventually roll over onto your back with your legs stretched out and a blanket, if that is helpful, to cover you, to help you be relaxed, or something to cover your eyes. And then just relax your toes and your ankles, your knees, and your hips. And your hands and your forearms, your shoulders, and your neck. Just allow your head to lie back. Imagine with your mind you are floating on a cloud. Perhaps you've imagined that as a child. There is softness all around you. The breeze is ever so gentle, and the warm sun gives you comfort. Allow the mind to settle and notice this moment. If you think about the future, gently guide the mind back to the present. When a thought arises, watch the thought and return back to this place, floating on the clouds with ease and comfort. Continue to rest for several moments of silence, and I will invite you to end the relaxation part of the class. In your imagination, see that the cloud settles to the ground and dissipates. You're laying securely on the ground. You can feel the firmness of the ground. You wiggle your toes and your hands and turn gently to the side. As you pause on your side, consider the concept of truthfulness and how it works with the emotional body, taught in the 5 koshas. Alfred Adler writes, "A lie would have no sense unless truth were felt as dangerous." Gently return to sitting. During the class, you experience truth in the body as you open your eyes and take on the day with your truth and your compassion. Namaste. Now, as you rise from your mat, don't forget to eat more plants. You will feel and move better. Follow us for tips at flowingyan.com.